everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins, and this is my good buddy Brendan, and welcome to our YouTube channel. If you're finding us for the very first time, or you are a returning viewer and have not yet done so, please click that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications about when we put up new content right here on this channel. So I've got a boatload of movie news to go over here because I've took a few days off. Got playing a little bit of the Jurassic World Evolution 2 game, so I'm not going to lie about that. So I didn't get a few videos put up this week. But tonight I did want to go over AEW Dynamite and wrestling trivia with Mike, as always. But before we get into all that, we've got a bunch, and I mean a bunch of movie news to go over. So let's go through those right quick. And let's start off with the fact that apparently Fast and Furious 10, which I think has a release date, I believe it's in 2023. I don't see how it would have enough time to get made before 2022. So, but Vin Diesel is apparently, I don't know if you want to say begging The Rock to come back, but he is definitely pushing for it. So let's go over here and check out a little. Whoop, I totally messed that up. Here we go. All right, so great way to start the show, but we're alive. So there we go. So obviously the rivalry between The Rock and Vin Diesel is well documented at this point. If you've been following anything on social media circles, Vin was trying to say that he was giving, Dwayne some tough love in the acting business, trying to push him to be better. Dwayne didn't necessarily see it that way, and they've kind of gone their separate ways. And if you saw Fast and Furious 8, if you watch it closely, you could tell there's not a single scene in that movie where they were on the set together. They spliced it together a little bit to kind of make it look like they were in the same scene here and there. But for the majority of that movie, they weren't anywhere near each other at all. But apparently, either Vin Diesel just wants to end Fast 10 the right way, or he realizes the franchise is hurting without Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. One of the two. But anyway, he is asking Dwayne to come back. And this is what he wrote on social media. And I want to read this to you here. "My little brother Dwayne, the time has come. The world awaits the finale of Fast 10. As you know, my children refer to you as Uncle Dwayne in my house. There is not a holiday that goes by that they and you don't send them well wishes, but the time has come. Legacy awaits. I told you years ago that I was going to fulfill my promise to my brother Paul. I swore that we would reach and manifest the best Fast in the finale that is 10. I say this out of love, but you must show up. Do not leave the franchise idle. You have a very important role to play. Hobbs can't be played by no other. I hope that you rise to the occasion and fulfill your destinies." Now, there's a lot of people online, and myself included. When I first read this, I thought it feels a little condescending. I let you read this at work, Brandon. What did you think about that when you first read it?
I don't want to say it sounds condescending, but I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't think that's how he meant it.
No, I think I've listened to interviews with Vin in it, and he's really dry in a sense, like not in a bad way. That's not what I'm like. Even when he's genuine, it sounds like it's scripted. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's got a certain tone about him too.
Yeah, it's not that he's not genuine or he's not excited about the prospect. That's just how his delivery is. That's just how he speaks. He speaks as if, sorry, how you've heard him in Riddick.
Yeah,
how he talks there. Like, okay,
all of his movies, family.
He's a huge nerd, right? Huge into D&D. One of my favorite D&D shows / podcast or whatever you want to call it is Critical Role. He did this one-off Critical Role right around the time that The Last Witch Hunter came out. You remember that movie he did?
Yeah.
And he played...
I never saw it though, but yeah.
The character he plays in The Last Witch Hunter is his actual D&D character, name and all.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And so during that game, you can tell he's super into it. But listening to him talk, it's just like a normal conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even when he gets into the character, it's still this normal conversation. So again, and plus to a text message or him writing something out, you lose all context in that.
That's very why, true.
Like, I hate conversating, especially over something important. I mean, we've had the same situation. You lose the context when it's just fucking words on the screen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if he approaches Dwayne on some real life shit, like calls him or FaceTime, whatever the case may be, or somebody sets it up, and then he could talk to him in person. That way you get the full context of the whole conversation.
Right.
Right now, you just seeing a screen grab, of a plea he put out, and it sounds how people want it to sound. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. Yeah.
So
I mean, I
I
think
don't
it's
think that's
just.
the case.
I honestly feel like this is Vin Diesel extending an olive branch to kind of hopefully, ask him in Vin's way of
Yeah.
asking him to come back to Fast 10.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't take this as harsh as others took it.
Hmm.
Dwayne's, I feel like this is also kind of putting Dwayne on the spot by doing this in a public light. By doing
Hmm.
this, Vin is kind of putting pressure on The Rock to be like, all right, now the ball's in your court.
Hmm.
The world knows that I want you back. Now, if you don't come back, that's on you at that point. And the Fast and Furious fans who want to see Hobbs return for this grand finale to the Fast and Furious main saga timeline, it's up to Dwayne The Rock Johnson to accept this olive branch. We'll see what happens.
Hmm.
I actually think that this is probably going to get done because remember, yes, they kind of had butted heads. Then they kind of pseudo made up, and then The Rock
Hmm.
even put out a statement that said, all roads lead to Fast 10. I'll see you soon, Toretto. And
Hmm.
then they kind of this news come out about how Vin was giving him tough love, and it kind of felt, and Rock kind of laughed it off, and it kind of felt like it fell apart again. So, these two guys just need to, make things work here.
Have
I
a
think
real
for the
conversation. Don't do this
yeah.
shit over Twitter.
Yeah, and I get there's a lot of macho stuff going on between both of these dudes
Hmm.
for sure.
Do it behind
But
closed doors.
yeah,
Nobody has to know
exactly.
about that shit. It ain't got to be public knowledge.
Yeah.
Have a conversation behind closed doors. Leave
And
it at that.
hopefully it'll lead to good things for the franchise and ending it on the right note, which I still believe we're going to possibly see Paul Walker's character return as well with the help of some CGI and things like that. I honestly feel like Vin Diesel wants to do this final part film, Fast 10 Part 1 and Part 2, even though it's not will be 11 films, but it's Part 10. I think he honestly wants to do the right thing and honor Paul Walker and things like that.
Hmm.
So I hope that it is on a high note because I wasn't even, and I'm actually one of those guys who is very forgiving of the Fast and Furious franchise. Up to the
Hmm.
last one, they did something in that movie, which I don't want to ruin a whole lot, even though it's been out a little bit, that I was like, okay, now you really jumped the shark. Even for me, it was too much. And I know the other
I
films.
told you, boy. I knew it was gonna happen.
Well, yeah, and I kind of had this feeling, but I'm like, they're not seriously going to do it, are they? But they did, and if that's the only time they do it, fine. But let's end it on a high note, and let's hope for the best there. All right, with that being down, let's move on to the next topic, and of course, the John Wick franchise has got 3 films now. They've got a prequel series coming to a streaming service, I believe, in the next few years called The
Hmm.
Continental. They've got the Ballerina movie, which is kind of a spinoff of the 3rd John Wick film coming out as
Hmm.
well. And now it appears we have our official title or subtitle for John Wick Chapter 4 that is going to be coming out in May of 2022. So here is the subtitle. John Wick 4 Hagakure? Is that how you pronounce that? It's Japanese, and apparently it's a name of a book, which is also got a subtitle of. It's called "The Secret Book of the Samurai." The quote from the book is: "The essence of Bushido is to prepare for death, morning and evening, and at any time of the day. When a samurai is always ready to die, he masters the way." So it's definitely sounds John Wick-ish, if
Hmm.
you ask me. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what Parabellum meant when the last movie came out.
Hmm.
But as long as this movie continues the John Wick, now I hearing this title, I don't
Hmm.
know if John Wick 4 is the last film of the franchise, but I kind of wonder if by the end of the franchise, John Wick dies.
I think it's
Because
the only way it should end. I think it's a great way to end it.
mhm. Yeah, I
You
mean, it
know?
makes some sense. I
Hmm.
think even the writer or the producer or somebody come out within the last few days and said, what kind of a future does this man have if he's not going to live happily ever after? Find someone,
No.
fall in love.
Mm-mm.
This dude has murdered up to probably over 300 people already in these movies.
Hmm.
What kind of life do you have after that? So it would probably make some narrative sense if John Wick dies by the end of this franchise.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I mean, Hagakure, I suppose. I mean, great. Good luck getting a lot of us YouTubers to pronounce it correctly. But I do think it's cool that they're putting subtitles into these films instead of just calling
Hmm.
them John Wick 2. Well, 2 was only 2, but 3 has a subtitle, 4 now has a subtitle.
Hmm.
There could be a running trend depending on how many more they do. As long as the story's still good and the
No,
action's great, keep
I
making them.
think you ended at 4. I really do.
Well, I
Because
wondered that myself. Yeah.
I don't think you overstay your welcome on this one. Um, I enjoyed all of them,
Hmm.
and you know, but if you're going to end it, I don't see him surviving.
Well, that when I was watching John Wick 3 in the theater, I was sitting there thinking to myself, okay, I love the action. This is great. But how much more story can you tell here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially with this character. Now, I know they're doing spinoffs and prequel series and things like that. So clearly they've got something in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, how long does the John Wick character have left? I mean, part of me was watching that going, okay, I'd like to see a fourth, wrap it up and be done, but I don't want it to overstay its welcome. So like you said.
I wouldn't mind seeing a younger Wick where he got his start. Mm-hmm. How he even fell into the line of business that he was into. Mm-hmm. And then it culminates in when he got out, you see the girl, you see him, the dog, and then obviously the rest plays out as it does.
You think maybe that's something they could explore in a Continental prequel series?
Either that or even a spin-off series, whatever you decide to do. I don't think you should do it more than that. I would just like to see, this is me personally, not everybody's going to have the same thought process or want to see something like that. But the story of John Wick, like how he got to where he was in the position that he was, and then why he quit. I know it's explained in the first one why he quit, but it was so intriguing to me. The whole boogeyman line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The aura around it.
And it's like, yo, what? Like, who were you that you were, so feared by so many people in this mob world that they let you leave with no consequences? It was like, yo, he earned his freedom. You know what I mean? Like,
what to get pulled back in. That was intriguing. But yeah, I would like to see more about that.
But he got pulled back in the worst kind of way.
Oh yeah. I mean, he just snaps, and but which is fun to watch for us. But and I know the Continental series is supposed to be based on the Continental. What is it? Is it a hotel? I think the hotel.
Yes.
And how its inner workings and things like that. So we could very well get to see more of John Wick and how he got to that point, like you said. But we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, but the real question is, what do you guys think about the new John Wick subtitle? What did you guys think about Vin Diesel trying to coerce The Rock back for Fast 10? Definitely let us know in the comments. All right, with that being said, let's move into our next movie news topic. Well, technically, this is a series topic. Disney Plus Day is coming out on Friday, and there's going to be lots of Marvel announcements, Star Wars announcements, especially in regards to Disney Plus. We're going to get a little bit more of the movie realm in just a second. But we've got a little bit of news that maybe dropped a little bit early for Disney Plus Day. So let's go check this out here. Oh, I did it again. All right, here we go. Miss Marvel has apparently now got a release window. It's not an actual release date. A lot of people were thinking we're going to be getting a trailer and a release date on Friday. But Miss Marvel, a lot of people thought, okay, it was going to come out by the end of this year as it was originally planned. But the pandemic probably played some havoc with some of that as well. And a lot of people thought it was going to be the first series in 2022 after Hawkeye. Well, apparently now it has been pushed to Q4 of 2022. Now, we should note here that Q4 does not necessarily mean next winter, next November, December. So in Disney terms, their financial quarters run from July to October. So it could drop anytime in that time frame. Many people are thinking it's going to come out in July. So Miss Marvel, as pictured here, obviously, I like the redesign. I know there's a lot of people who are not a big fan of the Miss Marvel design. This would appear, I think, to Brent a little bit, just because this has a bit more of a Green Lantern vibe to it, especially with the hand.
But it's I like it, and I understand, like, okay, logistically trying to. This is what, a TV series?
Yes, and she's going to appear in the next Captain Marvel movie too. Yeah. But yes.
Is this live action?
Yes.
Yeah. Trying to CGI somebody body part growing.
True.
Probably a pain.
I mean, not only that, you're going to be introducing the Fantastic Four at some point. If you're going to do Reed Richards, who's already a stretchy guy, do you need two at the same time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in this case, if you use
the difference is Reed can't do what Reed can stretch.
Right.
Only can she stretch, but she can.
Well, he can kind of do that a little bit too, right? Like swell up his hand.
Not to the extent that she can.
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
Because also she can make herself big as shit too.
Yes, that's true too.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
So like there's differences between the two of them, but I get what you're saying also. And so I think this is like a happy little compromise in a sense.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm not mad at it, and I'm okay with it.
No. Now, can you recall? I'm not the biggest Marvel aficionado, and some of these characters haven't seen yet in the TV and movie world. To your recollection, is there any Marvel character that has the constructs like Green Lantern does?
I'm not gonna say no,
I mean, I would assume there probably is, but the
you know
source of
what?
that power is probably
Hold
not
on.
rings, clearly.
That's why Google is the front
Right.
end.
Right on. Well, while you look that up, I'm going to move into the next topic that is similar to this one, since it falls along the same lines. That is, of course, Star Wars Andor also has apparently been announced as getting a Q4 release in 2022. So now we know that it sounds like 2022 is going to start off with the finish of the Book of Boba Fett, and then we'll probably get the Bad Batch Season 2 because that was a spring release this year. And then we'll move into Obi-Wan. My guess is in May. Hopefully we'll get a release date on Friday when a trailer for Obi-Wan comes out as well. And that probably puts Andor following Obi-Wan and then The Mandalorian to wrap up 2022. So again, this could be a July release or an August release, probably around the same time as Ms. Marvel. That's why they were announced together. So I think this could be great as well. Do you remember the Andor character from Rogue One? And what was your thoughts on that, Brandon? If he's not looking up Google.
It's been...
Well, here's the character.
I've seen... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. He was the one with the robot, right?
Yes, K2SO, who was not going to be in season 1, but they said he will be probably in season 2 of the show. So sounds like we're getting multiple seasons of Andor. This will be more about his time before Rogue One, clearly, because everybody dies in Rogue One. But it'll be about his time as a rebellion spy and maybe some of the dirtier deeds he had to do as a spy before he kind of turned good-ish, I guess. I mean, he was always good, I guess, but just hardened by war is the way I would put it. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Andor, and I'm looking forward to all the series from Disney and Marvel, and Star Wars for that matter. And I'm hoping we're finding out a lot more about all of these series come Friday, and hopefully even some announcements on the movie front too, which we'll get into in just a minute. Did you find the construct or anything? No.
No. All I'm finding, like, legitimately, is if what would happen, like, what heroes could hold lantern rings. I don't.
Oh, okay. Just nothing on the Marvel side, though. Which, if that's the case, it would make some sense to why. I mean, a lot of people are going to complain that they're changing the character of Miss Marvel, which I don't know enough about the character to get too upset personally.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but like,
yeah,
I don't think it's.
You know how the internet is.
I don't think it's that far fetched to say.
Yeah.
Instead of her being able to do this physically, she has these, I don't want to say like mental constructs because that's the wrong term, but has a power that she's able to do these things with her body in this astrophysical manifestation of a power. You get what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like she's able to, instead of actually making her hand big, she can just project this big fist out of her hand. You know what I mean?
We've got the astral plane and stuff in Doctor Strange. So could there be a connection there? I don't know. I mean, I'm not speculating.
I don't think it's too far fetched, and I mean, I wouldn't be upset with it. Hell, you could even just say it's part of her outfit, like her bracelets, which I think have meaning, are in the bands around her feet, or how she's able to do such. You know what I mean?
Well, we're getting little trinkets like that in some of the new movies, which I don't want to ruin a whole lot because I know Brandon hasn't seen a whole lot. Have you seen Shang-Chi yet, by the way?
No.
Well, just so you know, Shang-Chi comes to Disney Plus this Friday.
I know. I'm gonna watch it, man.
There you go. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts.
That was out of line. My fault, man.
No, you're fine. You're excited. That's nothing wrong with that. Anytime I can, get somebody excited for an upcoming Marvel movie, I'm always happy with that.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. I want to hear your thoughts for sure.
All right.
All right. Speaking of Marvel movies, though, let's get into an announcement that was this week from director James Gunn, who recently did the Suicide Squad and is, I believe, wrapping up season 1 of The Peacemaker right now. With John
cannot wait for that.
That looks great. So that's going to be fun. But now that he's got his DC stuff wrapped up for now, even though he has said he will be working with DC again after Guardians 3, but Guardians 3 has officially begun shooting, and here is the picture that James Gunn put out on social media this week, and he wrote this.
That shit looks like an old 1990s.
I know, it looks like a Polaroid, doesn't it?
Look, that picture like somebody, as soon as they took it, they were doing this shit.
Yeah, shaking that sucker. He wrote, "It's been a strange and long and at times challenging journey to get here, but the obstacles along the way have only made this moment more blissful. Back on set with the Guardians family for the first day of shooting." And of course, you've got, all the Guardians there except for Rocket and Groot, clearly, because they're just voices and CG characters. But, Zoe Saldana, Chris Pratt, Karen Gillan, Sean Gunn, his brother, and then of course you got Dave Bautista there in the bottom, and the director in the middle. I don't know who the guy is behind the director, but I believe he's a new cast member. And of course you got Mantis in the blonde hair.
Bunch of bitches.
Yeah, and then of course you got the actor above Dave Bautista who is going to be playing Adam Warlock. I can't remember the kid's name, but he was from We're the Millers. He's the one who got I believe stung on his genitalia. I believe that's what it was. He was very funny in that movie, but of course he's grown up and he's definitely got the look of an Adam Warlock. And I'm glad they're going to be putting him in this movie after the tease in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in the end credits. So that's going to be dope to get another superhero introduced in the MCU. And so it'll be interesting to see, how all this shakes out, because obviously the story behind a lot of this is James Gunn was infamously fired from tweets that were somewhere around 10 years old. And of course, the entire Guardians cast, Dave Bautista especially, went to bat for him. The whole cast did, but Dave Bautista really went to bat for him. I think so much as he wouldn't even do Guardians 3 without him, one of those deals. And I believe he's even soured on the idea of working with Disney again after Guardians 3 because of some of this. So yeah, he got rehired after, signing on to do Suicide Squad, and here we are. So at the same time they're going to be filming this, they're also going to be filming Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, which will be out, a live-action holiday special on Disney Plus next Christmas. So something to look forward to there as well. So live action with the entire cast and everything as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to check this out. What are your thoughts on the holiday special? You kind of had that, oh boy. Can you imagine?
I remember Deadpool's holiday special.
They got to decorate Groot as a Christmas tree.
That's going to happen.
It's got to happen.
I just want to try to get Drax to understand the concept of Christmas.
Oh yeah, good point. How do you explain that? I mean,
Peter's the only one who can.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, because everybody else wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know.
They spent all of maybe 5 minutes on Earth to fight Thanos, and they were done. So yeah, and if I remember correctly, I believe Peter Quill just doesn't want to be on Earth because Earth has bad memories for him. So he wants to avoid it at all costs for the most part.
But to explain Christmas to a bunch of aliens is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that could be great. And the big question here too is, how does Gamora, which I believe they said would be in the holiday special, but how? Because the last time we saw her in Endgame, she was a different Gamora from another timeline. She don't remember much about her time with the Guardians, if anything. And she went off on her own. And the whole storyline of Guardians 3 is going to be them looking for her, from what I understand. So how does that happen if that takes place before the film? So we'll see how that plays out, but it's an intriguing thought. Who knows? Maybe it'll be kind of flashbacks or something like that. I don't know. Maybe a previous Christmas they tried to celebrate. Who knows? But we'll find out soon enough. But the real question here is, guys, what do you guys think about the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is now filming? Please comment below and let us know your thoughts on that. All right, back to a little bit of Marvel news as well. We had a few posters that came out this week as well for one movie and one Disney Plus show. So here's the movie. I think everybody has been going crazy over this movie.
Yes. Now, I see the pumpkins.
Uh-huh.
I see the octopus arms. I see the lightning. I see the sand. Somebody I was watching on YouTube said there was another one in there. I
don't know if you could see it. Right here is the Green Goblin.
So they got the Hobgoblin and the Green Goblin?
The Green Goblin, as in Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
So you've got the lightning here, you got the sand, you got Doc Ock's tentacles, and you got a Green Goblin. Some of this, I'm not sure if they're the pumpkin bombs or not, but obviously we've seen a pumpkin bomb in the trailer, so we know a Goblin is in this.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's 4, at least, in this one alone. Obviously, rumors abound about this movie like crazy. There was actually a leak that fellow YouTuber John Campea possibly revealed to the world. I won't put it out here because...
Hold on. I'm going to try to find this damn poster.
Okay, that's fine. If you can, we can share it and something. But, obviously, John Campea put out some images that he didn't know if were fake or not, but immediately got contacted by Sony and took them down, but it was too late. The internet has them now. I don't really want to reveal what's in those photos because they are considered spoilers, but I'll just say they revealed some possible characters who show up in this movie, and if that's the case, the world's going to go absolutely ballistic when they see this. So I think this movie, it's already been talked about how Spider-Man No Way Home is, I think, around 2 hours and 30-some minutes, 37, 39 minutes long, so it is officially the longest Spider-Man movie they've ever done. And if they're trying to put everything in this movie that is rumored to be in this movie, from the Sinister Six to other cameos and appearances, they're going to need a long movie, especially if you don't want to overshadow Tom Holland's version of the character, who I believe will be the majority of the movie from beginning to end. But yeah, I mean, it clearly looks like we may be getting the Sinister Six in this film. Any other speculation who the other two members could be from you, Brandon? Any idea?
Shut up. I'm looking.
He's looking. Well, obviously we got Doc Ock. It looks like the hint here is Electro with the electricity, the Sandman with the sand, and of course Green Goblin. Some of the older characters.
Vulture.
You would think, but he's in jail, and we saw him in jail in the Morbius trailer as well, which is coming out after this movie. Could we be getting Mysterio back? A lot of people feel like he's not really dead.
I don't think he is.
Could we be getting Tom Hardy's Venom? Because obviously, if you see Venom, I don't want to ruin a bunch about that either, because I don't think Brandon's seen it yet. Could we be getting that? Could we be getting the Lizard? Since he was in Andrew Garfield's movie as well. Now we know we're getting Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, who Tom Holland revealed this week we're going to be getting.
Hold on.
I have a hard time feeling we're going to get, Venom played by the guy from Spider-Man 3. I doubt that's happening. But every other villain throughout the other Spider-Man series we've seen again. Or it appears they're coming back. So, yeah.
See, now I'm looking at this poster.
Okay.
Okay.
A little bit closer up.
On this website, yeah. And they say if you look under Doc Ock's, the more forefront arm.
Yeah, there's a few
face.
Yeah, I've seen people speculate it's a face.
General area here. You cannot see where my mouse is.
No, I can't. Nice try though. But I see what you're talking about. There's a couple on each side.
Right there, right there. No. Go back.
This one here? Yeah.
Right there.
There's a couple that look kind of like faces. And there's even another one here that kind of looks like it too. There was also rumors.
I know what you said about Mephisto.
Yeah, that's another internet thing. Like everybody thought during WandaVision, Mephisto's the main villain. It was not the case. Everybody thought it in Loki. Mephisto's the main villain. I mean, never say never, but I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of ways this could go, but I'm excited for this top to bottom.
You shut your whole mouth.
Well, okay. What are your thoughts, buddy? Let us know,
your whole mouth.
Brother. Anyway,
I'm looking up pictures.
Well, don't ruin stuff for people here on the channel.
I'm not.
There's a lot of leaks out there right now. If you look at what I think you're looking at, does it involve new heroes?
No.
No, okay. Well, I can send you stuff later if you really want to know, but I'm not going to put it on the channel.
I'm not either.
Okay, well, I can send you stuff.
Picture, and if you look at the brother, it might be. Anyway, all right.
All I know is this movie sounds like it's
even this
crazy.
One right here, bruh.
Well, we can't see it, so it's not going to do anything. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out a little over a month from now. What are your guys' thoughts on it? What are your speculations on it? Do you think the rumors are true? I think they're true. I don't think it's there's no way they're not true at this point.
I think you owe me money. I think that's what it is because we made a bet a while back about you said Mephisto wasn't going to be in the movie, and I said he could be, and you was like, no.
I'll still take that bet. He's not in this movie. There's too much else they're trying to do. I don't think he's in this movie.
That's his face.
Maybe that's what they want you to think. Now there was a rumor going around. There was a rumor going around that in Doctor Strange 2 that there could be Ultron bots. Could it be an Ultron bot? Maybe from the alternate timelines. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Who knows at this point? I think the simple answer is we're getting Doc Ock, Electro, Goblin, and Sandman, and maybe a couple others against the spoiler that's possibly out there. So we'll see what happens, but this is going to be a lot of fun.
I think we'll see Mysterio.
Yeah, I hope so. I love the version of Mysterio that Jake Gyllenhaal did. Yeah, I thought it was great. Now, the only thing that'll really worry me about that is if it is Mysterio in this movie, I hope all this stuff isn't just illusion. I mean, which would be dope, but at the same time, I want it to be real.
Whole thing to be real.
I want the multiverse thing to be real.
He is literally turning his world upside down.
Yeah, and that I'd be fine with. But the real question here is, guys, what do you guys think? Let us know. On top of that, we had this poster. This poster's Yes, it's coming out November 24th. It is, of course, the Hawkeye series. 6 episodes, and I believe it's 6. And then 2 episodes on opening day to kind of avoid running over against the Book of Boba Fett in December. So, are you looking forward to this show too?
Yep. I've liked all of the Marvel shows.
Oh, yeah, me too. They've really not missed yet for me. I know a few people are like, some are a little less than others.
Nope.
But
To me, okay, so WandaVision was weird. I'll give you that.
But it was good by the end of it.
Good.
Once you found out what was going on, it really picked up.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Fucking
dope. And that's going
from
to lead into a movie.
From the opening episode, start to finish, I loved every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Loki, same way.
Oh, that's going to be insane whenever we get a second season of that.
I can't wait for a second season.
And will that bleed into the movies too, the way they set that up? I don't see how it couldn't.
I'm about to say. And I think that's one thing that Marvel has done very well. Yeah. And I'll give DC credit on this. They have also done that very well starting with Green Arrow. And then
the TV
having
world,
it
for sure.
Having it tie into Flash and then Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, the stuff they're doing on the CW, I mean, some people are like, it's kind of, romanticized. This is the CW network. I get all that. But the special effects and some of the storylines are really good. It's kind of fallen off a little bit now that it's been on almost a decade now. But it's still pretty good.
Dope.
I need to get caught up on it. But yeah, they've been doing a good job with it.
And man, Marvel's been doing it ever since what was the name of that show on Netflix?
Oh, Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all those.
Jessica Jones started it.
Yeah, they kind of had a Luke Cage and Iron Fist. All of them went together for the Defenders and all that stuff.
I wish they would have done some shit different with Iron Fist.
Okay, we'll talk after the show. But right. There's you never say never. I'll just say that much.
I'm not saying never say never with that. I'm just saying I wish
course.
they could have done some things different with.
Well, you may get it. That's all I'm going to say. But we'll wait.
I like Iron Fist. I like Iron Fist as a character. Iron Fist is dope as a character.
Yeah.
If you comics, Danny Rand, way better than the TV personality. Danny Rand. Like I don't know what it was.
Didn't click
for me. It didn't. And I was like,
and I didn't hate it, but I get it.
I didn't hate it either, but it's like you are not what I thought you should be. You know,
I heard season 2 was better, but I didn't see season 2.
Yeah,
yet.
I still think Luke Cage season 2 was not as good as season 1 was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like after they killed Cottonmouth, I was just like,
Hey, that's all right. Cottonmouth's going to be Blade, so it's okay. We're going to get more of that guy. But I mean, I mean, Daredevil was great. I didn't see the third season.
Daredevil to me was
Punisher
dope.
was awesome. Jessica Jones the first season, but second season wasn't so good. First season was great though with the Purple Man.
Purple Man,
yeah, dude, that was great.
Again, you want to talk about a villain, a guy who can control you, make you do whatever you want. Most people who have these psychic abilities, you won't remember anything. The fact that you remember everything you did is fucking crazy. Because then he can have you go kill a bunch of people.
It was well done. I thought.
And now you live with that nightmare that you did that shit.
And I would love to see Kristen Ritter come back as that character in the MCU or something too. I mean, I think all those shows have potential to be more in the grander MCU world. That they were not real. I mean, they referenced, but they really weren't a part of the MCU. It's kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They would occasionally reference, and they had little, they bled into the films a little bit here and there, but later on they kind of just did their own thing. I would love to see, it sounds like now with Marvel owning the TV side of everything in the TV world is going to be directly affected with the MCU. So I think that's a good thing. But what do you guys think about the 2 posters there? Spider-Man, Hawkeye. Let us know what you guys think about all that. All right, Mephisto. All right, let's move into a little bit more deeper of a topic. And this is a rumor. Let's stress that. But I think it makes a lot of narrative sense, so I wanted to share it with you guys here. As, of course, this article comes to us from The Direct. Black Panther 2, rumored to feature the child of Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa. After the tragic loss of Chadwick Boseman, many wondered how Marvel Studios would work to honor the actor's legacy and the impact he had in and out of the MCU through Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Currently, the sequel seems poised to position Letitia Wright Shuri as the next in line to take on the Black Panther mantle. An on-set injury sustained during a stunt in August has prevented Wright from partaking in any recent filming, though so much so that the Wakanda Forever production has been temporarily put on hold. The Black Panther sequel will also introduce brand new faces to the MCU, including the likes of Dominic Thorne's Riri Williams, making her debut as Ironheart. She'll be also getting a series herself before too much longer. Also set to appear in the previous What If is the voice actress Lake Bell, who voiced Black Widow in What If, which she did a great job as that as well. I don't think she's going to be playing Black Widow, like an alternate timeline or different dimension version. I don't think that's the case, but never say never. Now, a new rumor may indicate how Marvel will continue T'Challa's role in the MCU. According to Cosmic Circus, who I don't believe is a super reliable source, so again, take this with a grain of salt, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever will reportedly introduce T'Challa and Nakia's son. It is rumored that T'Challa's son will not be taking on the Black Panther mantle in this film due to the character still being relatively young, leaving room for Shuri to take on the title in this MCU sequel. The actor portraying T'Challa's son is currently unknown, though the Cosmic Circus speculated that the role will be aged up and recast later down the line, similar to how Cassie Lang was for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. She played Scott Lang's younger daughter, and now we're going to see her grown up and probably assume the role of Stature in Ant-Man 3. Crafting a satisfying continuation for T'Challa in the MCU is a tricky and delicate task for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for Kevin Feige, Ryan Coogler, and everybody working on the film. Marvel Studios was adamant that T'Challa would not be recast, though, which would have run the risk of dismissing all that Boseman brought to the role. Introducing a son for T'Challa seems like a fitting way of honoring everything that has come before without undoing Chadwick Boseman's impact entirely. So yeah, I think this makes some sense to me, because a lot of people feel like maybe Shuri shouldn't be the Black Panther for good moving forward. But it's about the only thing you really can do in the sequel, I think, based on where you are at the time of Chadwick's passing. So I think she'll be the Black Panther in that film, and by the time the third film comes along, there'll probably be another time jump, and the kid who is T'Challa's son could be of age to at least be teenager or early, young adult at that point. And it would make some narrative sense. And there's also a Disney Plus series of Okoye or the Wakanda series. It could be one series or it could be two. That could also be a good opportunity to kind of build this younger character up in that series to build him up for his future Marvel Cinematic Universe movie title role. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Do you think that would be an idea worth exploring, or do you think this is all hogwash and it's all Shuri?
Nah, I don't know. Eventually, I think it will be a thing, and it's a good way to kind of set yourself up.
Yeah, I mean,
set it in line.
I know a lot of people I've talked to, around
Look,
work.
I said what I said at work.
Okay.
We talked about it.
Okay.
I was upset. Like, don't get me wrong. I wish there was a way that we could have gotten the whole Marvel or X-Men crossover.
Well, yeah. I mean,
because the story between him and Storm was dope.
Which is why I wasn't against the idea of a recast. I understand why they didn't to honor him. I get it, and Star Wars did the same thing with Carrie Fisher. You could have done that too, or whatever. But I mean, I just felt like there was so much more story to tell with T'Challa, and it's a shame we'll never get it. But you could still use this narrative and make it work. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, and that's what I was about ready to say. A lot of people I've talked to are upset we're not going to get Storm and T'Challa together as they were in the comics, and it could have been their son. Now, who's to say maybe he did have a relationship with someone like Storm off screen that we didn't see? But the clear indication was in the first Black Panther film was that he had a relationship with Nakia. So that makes the most sense. So I think that's where they're going to go. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Black Panther 2 is going to introduce T'Challa's son? Or do you think it's just going to be Shuri carrying on the mantle moving forward? If that's the case, I'm fine with the two as long as they do it very well. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Let's jump into DC for just a second. It's not going to be very long for DC, but Henry Cavill has been doing the rounds, doing some interviews and things like that. I believe probably for The Witcher Season 2, since it's about to come out. He's probably in some other projects as well, but he talked a little bit about Superman. And of course, the rumor for a long time, is he ever going to come back to the role of Clark Kent Superman, or is he done as the Man of Steel? Well, this is what he had to say. Henry Cavill was talking about the Black Superman movie that is going to be coming out before too much longer as well. He said it's exciting. Superman's far more than skin color. He's an ideal. Why not have multiple Supermen? Joaquin Phoenix did a wonderful Joker. So what if it's not tied to any franchise? They have multiple comic book storylines at the same time in these franchises now. And he didn't end up going on to say that the cape is still in his closet. So why not? I mean, we've got multiple Batman. We've got multiple Flashes in DC alone. That doesn't count, the multiple different versions of characters we may get in the MCU at some point. Why not? Why can't we do Marvel or Man of Steel 2 or Man of Steel 3? Doesn't have to lead into the eventual Justice League plans that Zack Snyder had. Fans want to see this. I think it makes too much sense not to at this point. And is he hinting that this is actually a done deal? Maybe we are going to get this. I mean, maybe not.
Maybe.
I mean, or he could just be saying, "Hey, if they call, I'll answer."
I would like to see. I can't remember the name of the group. It's not the Justice League. But there's
a society.
They're from an alternate Earth, and they're the reverse roles essentially of what the Justice League is.
The Justice Society, right?
I think so.
Well, I know they've been depicted in the Arrowverse, and I believe some members of that society will be showing up in Black Adam. So we know that for certain.
I think that would be dope.
I don't know if that's who you're referring to, but that was my best guess.
That's okay. I do believe that's who I'm referring to, because there is a legit. It's not. She's not called Wonder Woman. Obviously, she's called something else, but the same thing. There's a Superman character, which I cannot remember his fucking name. All I know is the Batman character. He looks like he's out of a noir movie. And I love him. But he's the same stoic, deep voice person.
Right.
It's Batman, but full face cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's fucking Batman.
I need to go back and watch some of the CW stuff. Like I said, they
can't remember his name.
Version of it on that series. I think it was Legends of Tomorrow. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
I loved Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a nice little time travel thing. Yeah.
I loved it as a show. Like I was flipping through Netflix, and the Legends of Tomorrow popped up, and I'm like, "Damn, it's been a while since I watched all these." And I just started rewatching them.
It doesn't take itself too seriously either, which is what I like about it.
No, it doesn't.
Not as much as the other shows do in the series.
I love it.
I mean, they can when they need to, but it's also kind of tongue in cheek.
It's just you have the power. You have fucking not Mr. Freeze, because I have Captain Cold.
Captain Cold. Yep.
And I'm like, fuck. The lamest names ever.
I mean, Marvel had Fing Fang Foom, and that's just comic books, man. I mean, Captain Cold,
Fing Fang Foom.
Leonard Snart was his real name.
Rosses.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I don't know. I mean,
he wore a poncho. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Right. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think those shows are great, but
I did. I honestly, like I said, I went back and I started watching them. I'm like, dude, damn, this is underrated. Hell, Black Lightning. Underrated.
Yeah, so the show I need to get caught up on too.
But, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It's also interesting to note that before we move on to the next topic, Henry Cavill did mention in this interview that he would be interested in playing the MCU's Captain Britain. Which would be interesting as well. Again, maybe he's just got to be like, hey, DC, you don't hire me for Superman, I'm going to jump to Marvel. I mean, I don't know. I mean, newsflash, actor wants work. So, I mean, who's to say? I mean, it could just be simple as that. But I hope that it's more along the lines of maybe they've got a deal done. They just haven't announced it yet. I hope one can always dream. All right, let's move on to the final portion of the movie news stuff before we get into our pro wrestling talk tonight. And, of course, let's move into a little bit of Star Wars news. This is a big piece of movie news, so let's get right into it from the direct here. Star Wars delays its next movie from Wonder Woman's Patty Jenkins. The Rogue Squadron film has been delayed indefinitely. Following Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker's release in 2019, the Star Wars content has largely been relegated to Disney Plus through series like The Mandalorian, Star Wars The Bad Batch, and come this December, The Book of Boba Fett. Lucasfilm's big screen hiatus was set to end with Rogue Squadron in 2023, a theatrical film by Wonder Woman 1984 director Patty Jenkins and written by Matthew Robinson, which was expected to be set after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. While the film was originally slated for a 2023 release, it now appears that Star Wars fans may have to wait a little longer before Patty Jenkins' Star Wars project arrives in theaters if at all. We'll get into that in just a second. According to The Hollywood Reporter, filming of Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins' Star Wars film Rogue Squadron has been delayed. The film was first announced in a video for Disney's 2020 Investor Day event, where Jenkins credited her father's fighting pilot career as her inspiration while admitting her desire to make the greatest fighter pilot movie ever made. While the film was supposed to have started production in 2022 with the goal of a 2023 release, the project was bumped due to what they call scheduling conflicts caused by Jenkins' other comments, as the director currently has Wonder Woman 3 and Cleopatra in the works at Paramount, both starring Gal Gadot. Now, here's the thing about all this. Scheduling conflicts is Hollywood speak for we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Luke, you mean to tell me when Lucasfilm and Star Wars hired Patty Jenkins, they didn't have her check her Rolodex or her calendar to see if she'd be available to make this movie? Of course she was available. Now, maybe DC is fast-tracking Wonder Woman 3. Okay, cool. I understand that. But to cite scheduling conflicts, you mean to tell me she signed on to do a project and didn't know if she was going to be able to do it in that time frame?
Mm-hmm.
That's like when Hollywood ever says, creative differences. That means the director and those who hired them couldn't come to the same page of what they wanted to do with creative ideas. Now, when you hire a director, aren't you supposed to know what you want at that point? But director and, production company at the same time. There's no sense in, 6 months after you announce a director, they say, oh, well, we couldn't just decide on what to do. Star Wars is infamous for this. I know I'm going off on a bit of a rant, but let me go here. Star Wars notoriously had director issues after, the Rise or The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson. Obviously, people didn't like that movie. They decided to go back to J.J. Abrams, who, many people felt like he just kind of rehashed A New Hope. Rogue One, they had director issues with that, and Lucasfilm famously wanted to take out the scene where Darth Vader mowed down everybody in the hallway at the end of that film. Why you would want to remove that, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Solo, a Star Wars story, halfway through the filming, they told the directors, Christopher Miller and Phil Lord, I believe is their name, that they were, again, creative differences, and then they went and hired Ron Howard to finish that film. How that film came out to be half as good as it did is beyond me. This all speaks to me that Kathleen Kennedy, the woman that George Lucas appointed to run Lucasfilm, has got to go. Mm-hmm. Because it's her job to hire these people to direct the films that she greenlights. And every film that she's pretty much touched has had some sort of leadership problems. And it's affected the quality of the films. Obviously, the sequel trilogy, many people look at it and go, okay, they clearly had no plan. That's her job. Yes, you could hire writers and directors and things to make that plan, but if you can't hire the right people to do said job, it's going to come off as a mess. And that's all that the Star Wars movies have been since Disney acquired them. Now, have I enjoyed the films? Yeah, because I'm a Star Wars nerd. But at the same time, there's casual audiences out there who feel like they're subpar compared to the old George Lucas films. Now, the Disney Plus TV series side of things have been great. Why? Because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have been shepherding most of those, and they have their head on their shoulders and know what they want and where they're going. Kathleen Kennedy's, now granted, she also greenlit The Mandalorian and all the TV shows as well. So you got to give her credit where it's due. She did give those projects the okay. I'm very worried about the Acolyte series come on Disney Plus because that's supposed to be her baby. And if that's the case, I wonder if that's going to be, a lot of people were criticizing how Star Wars has become woke under her, leadership as well. That's another story for another time. But there's a lot of things that have, really shown that Kathleen Kennedy may not be the person for this job. And I think Disney CEO Bob Chapek might be a good idea for him to maybe reconsider that. Do you have any thoughts on this, or do you just want to let me go?
No, I know what you're saying. You're way more into Star Wars than I am. You have way more knowledge over the Star Wars world than I do.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't have enough of the information, or it's not that deep for me as it is for someone like you. So for me, I just take your word for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, I didn't dislike anything that like the sequels. I mean, I totally see their flaws though. And I'm hoping that one of these days a guy like Dave Filoni could come in, maybe build some animated series around the sequel trilogy. Outside of Resistance, it wasn't the greatest, but something like along the lines of the Clone Wars that would actually add to those 3 films and maybe give them a little bit more narrative to where they make a little bit more sense and they're not quite as confusing and things that just didn't line up. And hopefully maybe The Mandalorian or something can do something like that. But for now, it's kind of become a bit of a mess in certain places in the timeline. And hopefully, from one Star Wars fan to anybody else out there watching this, hopefully they'll get their act straight. Now, thankfully, it looks like they've got their act together on the Disney Plus side of things because those shows look great.
Yeah.
Everything seems planned out. They've got a vision. That's what you need to do. And hopefully, with these Star Wars movies that we are going to be getting, they have a vision. And that'll lead us to another story here in just a second. But because of this Rogue Squadron delay, now we've got a few more movie moves on the release schedule. And this is them right here. Star Trek and Transformers have been pushed as well. Transformers Rise of the Beast, who was supposed to come out in June of 2022 has now been pushed a whole year to June 2023, and that pushes Star Trek to Rogue Squadron's old release date in December of 2023. So right away, Star Trek is going, we're going to take Star Wars' old spot, even though there technically is still a Star Wars untitled film scheduled for the same day. Could we get a Star Wars versus Star Trek film on the same day? Highly unlikely. But at this point, it doesn't sound like Star Wars is going to have any movie ready to go by 2023. However, that does not necessarily mean we are not going to get any Star Wars movie. So that brings us to our almost final topic here. There's rumors going around of a High Republic movie, which there's now a bunch of books set around that. There's rumors of an animated show and movies based on that. And of course, we're going to possibly be getting a Kevin Feige produced Star Wars film. The runner of the MCU has been tapped to make his own Star Wars film, and now he's talking about possibly hiring Chloe Zhao, the director of Eternals, to make a Star Wars film for him. Now, I've seen Eternals. I know Brandon has not. I'm not going to ruin it here, but I will say this about Eternals. First of all, number one, if they don't bring Galactus into the MCU, I'm going to be disappointed now. Thank you. That movie set that up perfectly, and I can't wait. I hope that's the case, but that's all I'll say about it. But in regards to what she did with the Eternals film, though, she did such a good job of building this lore in the MCU from 1,000 years, from the beginning of time, based on the opening crawl of that film, which is interesting, too, because the film did have an opening crawl, and Star Wars is known for that, so interesting enough. But Chloe Zhao did such a good job with all that and building this mythos around these new characters that I think she would be perfect for what I believe Brandon would love, Old Republic. And yes, he's been trying to get me to play this game for a while. But the rumor going around, I reported last week on this channel, that Lucasfilm could already be working on a trilogy of Old Republic films that set thousands of years before The Phantom Menace. So if that's the case, and the Eternals director did, in my opinion, I know some people didn't care for Eternals. A lot of audiences did, critics did not. But if she is tapped to write this film, and she did such a good job with lore and building all that stuff in Eternals, imagine what she could do with the lore of the Old Republic. And Brandon knows a bit about the Old Republic lore from playing that game. I've murdered
so many people.
One of these days, we're going to probably do a stream on the channel.
Like, given the option not to, I still haven't chosen. So many people died.
Right. But more than anybody probably more than me especially, that game especially deals with, different types of lore, especially from the generations of the Jedi, the generations of the Sith. That stuff we've never really got a whole lot of detail with in Star Wars.
Like Tulak Horde, Nargasadao, I think is how you say his name.
Got me. Saw you, bro.
These are, Sith Lords. Like Tulak Horde, he was like one of the original Sith Lords, like the evil incarnate, essentially. And then in Jedi, like Nomen Carr and yeah,
gotcha.
It even tells the story of Revan. How,
which is something I'd love to see. Darth Bane, things like that. The Rule of Two
was once a Sith, then a Jedi, and then nothing, because they both came together to literally stop this man. And yeah,
I mean, there's so much stuff that's not been tapped, especially in the lore of the Sith. Jedi stuff has been explored a little more, but the Sith we don't know a ton about. Period.
So if you play the game, is what I encourage you to try either a Sith.
Okay.
Try either a warrior or an inquisitor.
And I'm just
Because
strictly
you're
talking
right.
in canon too, but yes.
There's so much lore in this game,
Mhm.
especially around the Sith. And I told you, Korriban.
Yeah.
Now called something else.
It's Moribond in the Clone Wars series.
It was the original Sith homeworld.
Mhm.
And when I say Sith, I don't mean Sith as in, the race of aliens, red-skinned aliens called Sith.
Yeah.
And
And of course, as of right now, this is all Legends material outside of the Moribond thing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in Rise of Skywalker, we saw Exegol, which was kind of an ancient homeworld of the Sith. I don't know if it's the only homeworld, but I mean, you could go back and tell. I mean, I'd like to see like the Darth Bane, the Rule 2, Revan, Darth Plagueis at some point, which was Palpatine's master. Again, this is thousands of years before the Phantom Menace, but maybe around the High Republic era, you could get a young Palpatine. There are things you could do before the Phantom Menace timeline in the Skywalker saga. I want to see them explore that time period or well beyond the Rise of Skywalker. With Rey maybe, passing on maybe she's already trained a new, generation of Jedi or something like that. There are things you could do on both ends of the spectrum where you don't have to keep diving back into the Skywalker stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love all that stuff too. But, there's things you can do.
The beginning cutscene, which the 10-year anniversary, they decided to redo all the old cinematics, 4K and all that shit. I'll have to send them to you. The opening cinematic, Darth Malgus crashes a fucking transport into Coruscant.
Oh wow, cool.
And they kill every Jedi in this temple.
Yeah.
They sack Coruscant, and it's a huge story plot too. Because this is like years after they've done this. Malgus is gone, and a lot of these other Jedi's are gone. And then I told you about the Eternal Throne. You gotta play it.
There's just so much stuff. Well, even in canon, we don't know that there's the ancient war between the Mandalorians and the Jedi, which
that's
they've referenced.
Even a thing. Yeah.
I mean, there's things they're not really shown. Now, it's referenced in Mandalorian. We're probably going to get some more details on that. But even in like Clone Wars, the history of the Darksaber, the Mandalorian Jedi who had that sword. I mean, it's like an Excalibur type lightsaber.
So when they talk about it in the Old Republic, they make a reference of bounty hunters that were able to kill Jedi. They also make reference of soldiers, the troopers. These are not clone troopers, but troopers in a sense that were trained to fight the Sith. And I told you about the Imperial agent, how like it's
just dope. Just dope. Well, and another story I want to see them to kind of put a bow on this, but the Jedi Temple, the Jedi Council Temple, in the prequels was, I believe in canon, built over a Sith temple. So that's partially why Palpatine was able to cloud their judgment and things like that. So there's canon lore like that I would love to know far more about.
Hell,
and so yeah,
even the Mandalorians used to have this thing called the Great Hunt. That's how they got new bounty hunters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the Great Hunt, as a bounty hunter, you go through this whole thing to become a Mandalorian. You go through this whole thing called the Great Hunt. And initially it's you taking down just certain targets, but then those targets become like you go to different Balmorra, Tatooine, Alderaan, Ilum. I don't know if Ilum's Hoth. All these places it is a
lot of crazy stuff. So the bottom line of all this is make some good Star Wars movies, have plans. Don't deviate from those plans. Make sure you're on the same page from the jump. I mean, anybody knows if you write a good story, whether it's a book, a script, whatever it might be, you start at the end and work your way back. So if you don't have the finish of this story, don't start it. Know where you're going. That's all we ask, because that leads to good storytelling. And hopefully we'll get this Old Republic stuff, maybe even a High Republic thing, which is more 250 years or around in that area before Phantom Menace. So there's gaps in there as well. There's a lot of things you could do to kind of tie into all that stuff. So the real question though is, guys, what do you guys think about the Star Wars news? Are you guys upset that Rogue Squadron has been delayed? I honestly don't know if it's even going to happen now, to be honest with you, because we've been talking about Rian Johnson's trilogy forever. No news on that. Now there's this. Maybe they saw the results of Wonder Woman 1984 and they're like, maybe we don't want Patty Jenkins to direct a movie anymore. Who knows? But right now it appears like it's not happening anytime soon. All right, let's move into the final portion of this show, and that is, of course, our pro wrestling talk. And that brings us to Mike's Wrestling Fun Facts and Trivia, number 25. He's 1/4 of the way to the century mark, 100 episodes of the trivia. So he said if he ever survives that long and his kids let him live there, he'll actually celebrate it then. So with that being said, though, let's take a look at the trivia this week. It's also Survivor Series related. Again, since we're leading up to that event in WWE, even though I made a decision last week to not cover WWE anymore on this channel because, quite frankly, sucks. But that's just my opinion. So, but but I do like talking about the old classics, though. So let's listen to Mike's trivia and see what he's got for us. Here we go.
Question was stupid, and I read between the lines.
Oh, let's start it over. Here we go.
All right, so Brandon, I'm going to do you a favor. Since you said last week's question was stupid, and I read between the lines, you were saying it was stupid good, I'm going to stick with the 1987 Survivor Series for this week's trivia.
Asshole.
You can thank me later. So, one of my favorite matches from the first Survivor Series, and they actually did it again at the second Survivor Series, was you had 5 tag teams versus 5 tag teams. When a man was eliminated, him and his regular tag team partner were forced to leave.
Yeah.
On one side in the first Survivor Series, you had the then former World Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation, leading a team that was comprised of Demolition, the Islanders, the New Dream Team, which was Greg the Hammer Valentine and Dino Bravo, and the Bolsheviks. On the other side, you had the then newly crowned World Tag Team Champions of Strikeforce, teaming up with the British Bulldogs, the Killer Bees, the Rougeau Brothers, and the jobbertastic tag team of the Young Stallions, Paul Roma and Jim Powers. Now, my question for you is this. The babyface team was victorious. 2 teams were the survivors. Who were those 2 tag teams? And just for fun, if you want to answer this, you can tell me who was the last team they eliminated to win the Survivor Series match. And when I give the email answer, I'm going to throw in a little bit of a tidbit about the Coliseum video version of the Survivor Series that kind of left me wondering, did I miss something? Okay. So there's your questions. Who were the 2 teams that survived to win the match, and who was the last team they eliminated? Hope you're all having yourselves a wonderful week. Brendan, I hope you enjoyed the question. You got this, Black Lightning. Let's see if you and the Great White Jinx can answer this one.
Yeah,
we'll see y'all next time.
We know. But yeah. Yeah, man, I love his videos, man. They're making me laugh.
Now on, I'm calling you the Great White Jinx.
Yeah, well, he's not wrong. I have the abilities to jinx replays on NFL recap shows, so there is that. So just for full disclosure here, before we get into that, the reason why you see these up on the screen before he's done playing the video is because I have listened to the question in order to prepare for the show, but I have not looked anything up. Swear I will never do that because that takes away from the fun of it. But I do want to know the question and some of the trivia answer or the options for the answer in case I need to put them up on the screen. That's all I do, just so you know. But he did say in the video that the babyface team won. Now, looking at these teams, I got to admit, I had to look up who was on these teams because I had no idea which of these 2 Survivor Series teams were the baby faces. Can you tell by looking at this who the baby faces were?
Yes.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Strikeforce, British Bulldog.
Okay, well, you got it right. I was like, okay, because I knew the Hart Foundation were baby faces at one point. I assumed they had heel runs. Right. Demolition, I think, were always heels. The Islanders, to be honest, I didn't even remember who they were. I had to look them up.
Wasn't that, what the shit?
It was Tama, and who's the other one? Do you know?
No.
It's Haku and Tama.
That's what. Okay, yeah.
Managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan. Obviously, Demolition, Action Smash, and the Hart Foundation, Brett and Anvil. The New Dream Team consisted of Greg the Hammer Valentine and Dino Bravo, as he said, and the Bolsheviks, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov, versus Strikeforce, which I totally forgot about this team. Tito Santana and Rick Martel.
Yeah.
And the British Bulldogs, obviously, Davey Boy and Dynamite Kid. Everybody remembers them for the most part. The Killer Bees, I know Digger has referenced them many times. Mike here. Jumpin' Jim Brunzell and B. Brian Blair. I remember Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, but not Brian Blair. The Rougeau brothers, Jacques and Raymond. And then, of course, the Youngstowns, as you mentioned, Paul Roma and Jim Powers. Some interesting teams here, which, again, so, yeah, I had to look up who the babyface team were. So, maybe that's a little cheating. Sorry, I didn't mean to cheat, but I was trying to figure out just who the baby faces were. So maybe I went back on my word. I didn't mean it. But anyhow, but even so, I have no clue. So to me, obviously, one team is probably completely eliminated here since he did kind of give away the baby faces one. So that leaves the Strike Force, British Bulldogs, Killer Bees, the Rougeau brothers, and the Young Stallions. Now watch, he's going to get on to me for looking that up. But
so who were the last two teams?
Yeah, that's the last two teams who survived, and who did they eliminate last? If that's the bonus question,
I'm gonna say
I couldn't tell you who the leaders or the captains were. I think
Strike
the Heart
Force
Foundation,
was the Heart
I
Foundation
assume that's who he led
Strike
off
Force
with.
was leading the other team, the babyface team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it wasn't Strike Force. I'm gonna say it was the British Bulldogs.
Yeah, I would think the Bulldogs for sure.
And
The Killer Bees were, I think, were pretty popular, so part of me wants to say them.
And I want to say it was the Heart Foundation.
That they eliminated last.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that or Dibble. Well, yeah, I don't know. If,
Nope. I think
think
the
they were-
Bolsheviks probably went out early. So did the Young Stallions. The Rougeau brothers probably took on either the Islanders or the new Dream Team. At
that's
one
assuming we
point-
book it like we do today.
Yeah. At
you
one
know.
point, you would have a 3-on-2 situation. I mean, team wise.
Right.
So I'm assuming it would have come down to Strike Force instead of the champs, British Bulldogs, with the Islanders, Demolition, and the Heart Foundation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm leaning with you on the Heart Foundation being the last eliminated. Did you say Bulldogs and Killer Bees?
Yeah.
That's who I'll go with too. So I guess I'll stick with you here, just by process of elimination. But
It's either the Bulldogs or Killer Bees or Strike Force and Killer Bees. But I'm leaning more towards the team captains were taken out.
Yeah, it's
for
very
the
possible.
babyface team
Uh-huh.
because it's like, oh, they're the big.
It
guys
gives them
this
heat and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I hear you. It's very possible. But then again, Tito Santana and Rick Martel, especially Santana, at that point would have been very popular. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
but it would have made more sense.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. All right, let's go over here and check out the answer here. He said us here. He says the two teams for the babyface side that would survive the tag team elimination match would be the Killer Bees and the Young Stallions.
Damn it.
The Jobber team, as he pointed out.
Wow.
Last eliminating the Islanders. They were the last team. Wow. So, yeah.
I was right about the Islanders
Yeah. We'll go with
and
that.
the Killer Bees, just not the Young Stallions. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, wow. I didn't, yeah, considering he kind of set that up with the pajama part of it. I guess the Killer Bees had to carry them to that win.
Yeah.
He said in the Coliseum video release, which, by the way, I remember those Coliseum old videos. Those were awesome, by the way. You love that. The release of the event went when get to where it's the Islanders, Dream Team, and Hearts Foundation versus the Bulldogs, Killer Bees, and the Stallions. We see Jim Powers being babyface in peril and being worked over by Greg Valentine. We then get a jump edit where Valentine is still working over Powers, but the Bulldogs are suddenly nowhere to be seen, having been eliminated. Luckily, the WWE Network has the unedited version showing the Bulldogs being eliminated by the Islanders. So I wonder why they edited that out. I mean, I can't think of the reason.
On the tape, I could see if it was like an edit on the
Network, because that's what they do. Yeah, they edit out all stuff.
Why would you edit it on the tape? The tape's normal.
Valentine is working over Powers, but the Bulldogs are suddenly... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's interesting to me. I mean, I can see why that would catch his attention. It's like, wait a minute, where'd the Bulldogs go? All of a sudden, just...
Where the fuck did y'all leave?
I mean, if it was WWE booking today, they probably just walked off and left, and they never would say anything about it. But, yeah, I mean... Interesting. So, yeah, I didn't know that. Interesting to know the Islanders lasted. And, yeah, good for the Young Stallions then, man. Paul Roma, I'm sorry, Power and Glory. I didn't think they were a jobber team. I like Power and Glory, Hercules and Paul Roma at the time. But that's just me. But then again, That's just one man's opinion. But anyhow, yeah. So once again, we prove as much as we know about pro wrestling, we don't remember it all. And Mike likes to prove us wrong every single week. So the real question here is, though, guys, what did you guys think about Mike's Wrestling Fun Facts and Trivia here for this week? Did you guys know the answer? Do you guys remember the original Survivor Series in 1987, like we talked about last week as well? Comment below and let us know your thoughts about this upcoming event, which I personally believe has no build at this point. They've announced matches, but they've done nothing to further those feuds, in my opinion. Just a little WWE rant, because I know I won't talk about them a whole lot anymore. All right, with that being said, let's move into the very final portion, the final portion of this show, and that is, of course, our AEW Dynamite review here for November 10th, 2021. The show opened up with Bryan Danielson coming out to wrestle New Japan's own Rocky Romero. Rocky Romero was flanked by Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, and they announced on commentary that Okada in New Japan has, kind of recruited the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy to join their Chaos stable over there. So apparently we're getting some collaboration still with New Japan and all this stuff, and a Chaos member is now over here on Dynamite for the evening. So
weren't they already a part of Chaos?
Rocky
Originally?
Romero was. I don't know if the Best Friends were or not. They announced tonight that
Trent was.
Well, Trent maybe, but Trent's not on the show right now because of his injury. I don't know. I don't recall. Maybe he was and maybe he wasn't. I don't follow New Japan as much as AEW, but that's just what they announced. So apparently new members, but especially Orange Cassidy. Maybe that was more the indication that Orange Cassidy was the newest member. I don't know. But anyway, he was out there to give support to Rocky Romero during this match. 2 weeks after appearing on Impact Wrestling, Rocky Romero made his second AEW appearance, battling Bryan Danielson in the night's opening contest. I don't recall his first appearance. It's probably a while ago, but I don't remember. Orange Cassidy accompanied Romero as he, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, Statlander were all previously invited to join Chaos, as I said. A back-and-forth encounter saw neither man establish sustained control. Counters and reversals dominated before Romero sought the cross-arm breaker that he hoped would force a tap-out from his opponent, but Bryan Danielson fought out, countered and attempted sliced bread number 2, and applied a tequila sunrise for the submission victory. So, once again, if anybody doubts that Bryan Danielson is possibly the wrestler of the year, we'll go watch this again. Every match that Bryan Danielson is having in AEW is stellar, top to bottom. So yeah, I mean, definitely check it out. Rocky Romero, I've not seen a whole lot of him. I know I've heard of him on some interviews and things like that, but good to see him here on Dynamite. But I mean, to be honest, I'd have to see more of him before I got super invested for sure. But yeah, maybe we'll see more of him. We'll just have to wait and see. But Bryan Danielson definitely got a good win here with a great match. Both of them had a good match leading into his match with Miro on Saturday. So every match on Full Gear, I believe, got good build for a go-home show tonight. So that's a good thing. American Top Team then sends a painful message to the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle made their way to the ring for an in-ring promo with Tony Schiavone when Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and American Top Team attacked from out of nowhere from behind. The heels beat, battered, pummeled, and punished Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, and Santana Ortiz with weapons before Dan Lambert drove a prone Chris Jericho through a table. He did the Bubba Ray Dudley spot off the middle turnbuckle, and he didn't sit down powerbomb him, but he dropped him through the table, and Dan Lambert about dropped Jericho mid powerbomb. So,
oh God.
It's kind of scary there for a moment, but other than that, Dan Lambert was great here. He then applied a Boston Crab to Chris Jericho because Scorpio Sky said, "Put him in the walls," and Dan Lambert on the microphone said, "It's the Boston Crab. It's been the Boston Crab since 1970 something." So he was razzing on Jericho's finishing maneuver here, and of course Ethan Page then made Jericho tap out by lifting his hand up and down, making him tap out. Jericho didn't tap out though. So yeah, it looks as if they book this the way I think they're doing, like a lot of the stuff on this show, the finishes you saw tonight will be the opposite as on Full Gear. Inner Circle looks bad here. They're going to win on Saturday, but that's my opinion. Any thoughts on that, Brandon, or no? He's kind of.
No, I'm not trying to. No, I got a text message from somebody who I've not spoken to in a long fucking time, and it was weird. I sent you a screenshot of it.
Okay, well, we'll discuss later. Moving on, though.
Anyway.
We'll talk about that later.
Off-putting his head. I was like...
Interesting. Okay. We'll move on then. Next, we had the 6-woman tag match. Thunder Rosa, Ty Conti, and Anna Jay versus Britt Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter. AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker teamed with those two to battle the number one contender, and the other two, they're going to be. I think Thunder Rosa is going to be seeing Jamie Hayter in the Women's TBS Championship tournament coming up soon. The heel seized control of the match and cut the ring off, isolating Jay from her teammates through the commercial break. Jay created some separation, tagged Ty Conti in, and the Brazilian exploded into the match. Her momentum stopped only after Britt Baker intervened. The action broke down with each woman getting some signature stuff in, but Ty Conti dropped Rebel and scored the pinfall victory while Baker merely watched from the outside. So, overwhelmed by the numbers, Britt Baker had to retreat here. So, again.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Because the absence of sound means something totally different.
Okay. Anyhow, we'll move forward here. I thought we don't know what's going on. But anyway, Britt Baker, obviously, is, in my opinion, retaining this title against Ty Conti on Saturday at Full Gear. I think that, Ty Conti, obviously, I'm glad to see her in this position, but Britt Baker is not going to lose that belt, in my opinion, until she wrestles Thunder Rosa, most likely at the beginning of 2022, maybe at the Revolution pay-per-view. We'll have to see where they go with the booking of that. But I thought this did a good job of furthering this feud, plus the TBS Championship Tournament with Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa as well. So, good all the way around here. I thought it was a fun little match. No problems from me here. I'm not going to complain too much about it. This show, top to bottom, was relatively good wrestling, relatively good build, all that good stuff for the upcoming show on Saturday. Then we had Jungle Boy versus Anthony Bowens. Jungle Boy, Christian Cage, and Luchasaurus will battle Adam Cole and the Young Bucks Saturday at Full Gear in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And to prepare for that encounter, Jungle Boy battled the Acclaims, Anthony Bowen, in singles competition. After Max Caster cut a rap that insulted his girlfriend, I love that rap because he insulted Jungle Boy by calling out, he didn't say Anna Jay by name, but Max Caster cut a rap on Jungle Boy before this match, and Max Caster basically said, how could you possibly leave your girl with 7 dudes, referring to Anna Jay and Dark Order. So,
whoa,
yeah.
Whoa,
Brandon just walked into this conversation, so yes, absolutely. But yeah, Max Caster's raps are getting better, and I'm not gonna lie, they've been pretty fun.
They had no choice but to go up after that last.
That faux pas they had. Yeah, it's been a few months now. But yeah, I mean, they're doing a really good job here. They did a good job of cutting a rap here on Jungle Boy for sure. And it's interesting to note, too, tonight's show was from Indianapolis, Indiana, right up the road, not too far. So, but yeah, I kind of hate that we didn't get to go to this show. Would have been fun for sure, but maybe next time. Jungle Boy took the fight to Anthony Bowens, though, who, by the way, Anthony Bowens had a great match on Rampage against Bryan Danielson, and tonight had a great match against Jungle Boy. So, Anthony Bowens, young star in the making here. They're giving him some time with some good talent. So glad to see that, building new stars. Only to find himself on the defensive throughout the commercial break, though. Following the timeout, the babyface fought back, scoring a low drop kick and following with a big lariat clothesline. Bowens answered with a strike combo before slamming him to the mat for a near fall. Bowens then threw everything he had at Jungle Boy, and frustration began to set in as he wondered what it would take to put his opponent away. The babyface Jungle Boy, though, showing awareness beyond his years, seized an opening and quickly applied the snare trap for this quick submission win here. So good to see. Again, Jungle Boy gets a nice clean victory here. Anthony Bowens looked good in defeat. Max Caster tried to get involved, didn't work very well. So yeah, again, building new stars. Jungle Boy looked good here, no doubt about that. And the loser looked good in the defeat. After the match, we got Bobby Fish came out and attacked Jungle Boy. Delivered a wicked T-bone suplex before bailing to the arena floor when Christian Cage and Luchasaurus made the save. Obviously, as we found out a little bit later here, that this kind of a setup by the Super Click and the Elite to kind of injure Jungle Boy going into their 6-man Falls Count Anywhere match on Saturday. So good build for that all the way around. It was interesting too because not too long after this, we had Bobby Fish was in the back with the Super Click, which had Adam Cole and Bobby Fish go face to face, the first time since the Undisputed Era in NXT. And it was funny because even Matt Jackson, I believe, looked at Bobby Fish. He's like, hey, if one of my good friends, Adam Cole, he vouches for you, I trust you too. But there is no dispute that it's the Super Clicks era here in AEW. So nice little play on words there. You got a nice little stare off with Adam Cole and Bobby Fish, possibly teasing a reuniting of some sort, maybe one day down the line. And we could see Kyle O'Reilly make his way to AEW at some point too. So definitely laying those seeds, whether they follow up on them right away or not, probably not anytime soon, but the seeds have been planted. So I like this setup. And it made sense because they paid off Bobby Fish, and Bobby Fish is now going to have a match with Jungle Boy on Rampage to soften him up even further, according to the Click. So we'll see what happens. Next, we had a squash match featuring Wardlow. He battled Wheeler Yuta. This basically went as you would expect. A big man steamrolling him with delivering 4 consecutive power bombs to Wheeler Yuta. Not a good night for the members of Chaos, as we mentioned before, and the Best Friends. But, yeah, Wardlow looks like a killer here. And, again, looks like to be furthering him as a single. So good to see whenever he turns on MJF. After this match, we got a feud that I can't believe they're still doing. And this is one of my biggest criticisms of AEW right now. The Hardy family office came out and attacked Orange Cassidy and the rest of the Best Friends again. So Matt Hardy just cannot let this thing go with Freshly Squeezed. And he even delivered a twist of fate with the assist of a steel chair during the twist of fate, which looked like sucked for Orange Cassidy here. But do we need Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy anymore, in your opinion? Yeah, no, I think it's.
I told you that before.
I know it's played out
weeks ago.
And I thought it was over. I wish it was. If this continues, it better be on Dark. I don't want to see it on the main shows anymore. That's just my opinion. And apparently Brandon shares my sentiment. Yeah. So move forward. After this, we had a fantastic tag team match. They built up a little bit over the last few weeks. Matt Sydal and Lee Moriarty versus Dante Martin and Leo Rush. Leo Rush was on fire in this match. He looked great, and so was Lee Moriarty. It's pretty telling when the slowest man in the match was Matt Sydal, because Matt Sydal is incredible.
Not slow.
No, not slow. So I mean, and all these guys did a great job. This was insane. I love this. Again, if you don't like the flippy stuff, it's not for you. But the guys delivered in spades here. Sydal brought Rush off the ropes with a Hurricane Rana, while Moriarty obliterated Dante Martin with an uppercut. The debuting team absorbed and fought back, though, with Leo Rush calling the shots for Dante Martin to deliver the springboard moonsault on Moriarty for the win. So yeah, I mean, fun match. I believe probably the right team won there. They're building, Martin and Leo Rush as a tag team. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Dante Martin's real life brother comes back, whether or not they continue this, and if Leo and Dante continues to get along. But we'll see where they go with it. So yeah. And then that was pretty much it for the wrestling on the show. Then we kind of blew through it, but I mean, we had some nice promo packages. I believe CM Punk was even in the back, was in the parking lot having a pull apart with Eddie Kingston. They were trying to keep them apart. Just kind of, it wasn't anything, major storyline driven. However, they released a great promo package on social media today with Eddie Kingston basically saying why he hates CM Punk right now. That was great. If you haven't checked that out, go see it. It's a great storytelling bit that they did there for this match. But this is a good pull apart, just a little tease, and maybe we'll do a little bit more of it on Rampage. But at least they addressed it as well. And of course, there was a segment. I'm not sure if this article mentioned it though, there was a match where Cody Rhodes got involved with Malachi and
why are we still doing
Andrade?
This?
Well, because the tag match is Saturday. Cody and Pac against Andrade and Malachi. So,
because I'm saying with that, I told you my whole thoughts on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Should have never let Cody win.
Yeah, I got to feel it. I mean, who takes the pin in this tag match? I'm assuming Cody. I mean, you could Pac, but
then it'd be pointless for having. You can't, because then it makes his win over Malachi seem like nothing.
That's where it was, by the way. There's a match this article, but I'll talk about it in a second. It was Pac versus Dax Harwood. But yeah, great match, by the way. Dax and Pac.
You can't.
Yeah, what? Can't beat Pac.
You can't have Cody lose. He can't eat the pin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Because then it makes the win over Malachi for nothing. And you definitely can't pick Malachi.
I don't know if it hurts Cody, but I see your point. I don't know. I mean, I really don't think you pin Andrade or Malachi. I think they win, no doubt about it. Pac is, I would hate for them to pin him.
He's the odd duck here.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, he got destroyed after this match he had with Harwood. He did beat Harwood, just so you know. Pac did win that match, and Harwood wrestled great.
So you get out of it by having, not Malachi, Andrade pin Pac.
Andrade pin who? Pac?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, even for we've seen that feud, but yeah, I mean, you could do that for sure. I mean, after
unless
this,
you're going to move, there's no. I don't fucking know. I don't think you should have had Cody beat Malachi right now.
Yeah, I understand. That's a criticism that a lot of people, and it's been a few weeks, but yeah, I mean, I understand.
Unless you have Malachi black mass fuck Cody out of the soul out of Cody,
multiple, maybe hit him once, lift him up with his foot like he does, and hit him again, or 2 or 3 times. I'd be fine with that. I mean, That would sell it for sure.
And then have Malachi pin him, and then for whatever, then you can, I guess at this point, move the story forward with him or split him apart.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I still think at this point you shouldn't have had him beat him.
Then if you have him pin Cody again, even though they kind of ruined it a little bit with Cody winning, then Cody really starts to think again, this guy beat me a third time. Then you descend again.
But that's what I'm saying. It should have been this situation, like especially for this. So
the whole time
he loses, right? And then he goes into this match thinking, okay, like this is
my chance. I got a guy to help me,
Black Mass, he pins him again.
Definitively this time. And then what does Cody do?
And then you have that last match where Cody finally gets it. But right now the crowd fucking hate Cody.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of boos again tonight. Seems like they've kind of died off a little, but they are still there. So we'll see how it goes at the pay-per-view. At the pay-per-view, there's going to be diehard crowd. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But, I agree with you.
You should have done it.
I understand. I totally get it. But yeah, getting back to the Harwood Pac match, since this article's for whatever, I had to use a different site tonight because my original site, it wasn't working. They were down. But anyway, Pac versus Dax Harwood, a great match. Dax Harwood looked good as a single, as he always has. Interestingly enough, though, Pac put him in a submission hold, and Harwood immediately tapped out. Didn't even wait for him to apply the full pressure because he had a bad shoulder. It was all taped up. He didn't want to cause any damage to him any further. But then Pac wouldn't let go of the move. He wouldn't let go of it. So that's when Cash Wheeler came out and broke it up, started to attack Pac, and that's what caused Malachi and Andrade to get involved, and that's when Cody and the Lucha Brothers come out to run off the FTR, and so it all became a big schmaw. So they definitely, again, set up every single match going into Saturday. So in that regard, I thought that part was good. All right, then we got into the Full Gear contract signing between Adam Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Hangman Page and Omega joined Tony Schiavone for the signing in the ring. Omega claimed AEW was meant to be for Page, but he always knew Hangman needed the Elite to be successful. The anxious millennial cowboy recalled last year's Full Gear and Omega telling him he was proud of him, but he wasn't. He was afraid of Page. The tone intensified before Omega implored his challenger for one last handshake. Before this, though, I think Omega was talking about how, as a tag team partner, you were the lesser of the two. And then Hangman Page mentioned, he didn't say by name, but he mentioned Omega's partner in New Japan. Many people used to think that he was the lesser of the two. And I can't remember who the partner was. Do you remember who his partner was in New Japan? I'm going to sound like a complete moron. I looked it up a while ago and I forgot. But
Kenny's partner?
Yes.
I mean, he had the Bullet Club.
Yeah, but I can't remember who his partner was. But anyhow, that was a nice reference to, again, another star that They mentioned Okada on this show. They mentioned some big heavy hitters in New Japan on this show, in reference. So could we be seeing some of them come over? We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, are they talking about
you're going to say it, I'm going to know.
I always get his name mixed up with somebody else's.
It's not Kushida. It started with a K, I thought, though. But anyway, I could be wrong.
Is it Kushida?
I don't think so, but
wasn't him and Kushida tag partners?
Maybe it was. Like I said, I don't follow New Japan as much.
Yeah.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go with that.
It was him and Kushida. Wait,
okay.
what's nothing?
I want to edit all this out.
Is it Kushida?
Hold on. Let me Google. We'll cut this. I'll edit this out.
No, leave this in there.
Omega. Ibushi.
Real.
It was Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi.
God.
See, I knew.
We got this.
I always mixed up his name. I'm looking at his face and I'm like,
yeah, it started with a K.
Kushida is the one that's in NXT.
Brother.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah, exactly. That's
Kota
why I knew
Ibushi.
it. But anyhow, Paige made reference to him without saying his name, and of course, that got a big ooh from the crowd because the crowd knew exactly who he was talking about. Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew it was a guy in New Japan, but I couldn't remember. Anyway, moving on. But suddenly, before Hangman Page went to go for the handshake with Kenny Omega, a cameraman attacked Adam Hangman Page before revealing himself to be Don Callis, who had a fake goatee on, and he ripped it off. And of course, for weeks now, 6 weeks, we've not seen Don Callis. They removed him from the promotion. He'd not been around. Everybody was speculating online. Where's Don Callis? There's no relationship with Impact anymore. Maybe he went back to Impact, even though I think he's an AEW talent now. And everybody was like, okay, maybe they just dropped the Don Callis storyline. They played on that speculation here, and Don Callis even mentioned it in his promo, like, see, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist, and he pulled that out here, and I thought this was great. The shot from the camera on Adam Hangman Page opened up his forehead, and blood was dripping down. So the best bout machine, Kenny Omega, proceeded to sign the contract with Adam Hangman Page's blood. So great
That's
segment.
dope.
Great
That's
segment.
dope.
Great segment to end the show, to go into the world title match on Saturday, which, again, we've talked about here on many times on this channel. We believe that Hangman Page is going to get his spotlight finally and win the AEW world title against Kenny Omega. And again, as go-home segments go, this was as good as you could book it, especially for contract signings. It wasn't overly scripted. Granted, they didn't have a whole lot of time to pull it off based on they might have had a few timing issues by the end of it, but the two guys in the ring made it work, and the reappearance of Callis and the signing in blood was absolutely great. So overall, good go-home show. Can't wait for Full Gear and Rampage this weekend. Any other thoughts on AEW before we get out of here?
I'm sad I won't be able to watch it this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Dumb ass is working.
Well, it's not till late. You're probably off by then.
I get up at 7:30. I'm not about to come to your fucking house just to get up and go back to get out of here with that.
I'm just saying, but anyhow.
No, it's not 7:30. It's 4:30. I work from 7 to 4.
Yeah, you'll be off by then. You may have to go in. I don't know if you're going in Sunday or not, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, it'll be, 10 or 11 when it's over. Then
Punch you in the face.
you can go home, go to sleep. But anyway, you're welcome. But anyhow, we'll see what happens. We'll talk about it later.
I'm going to fist fight you tomorrow. Always I see you.
Why? What did I do? I'm out of the goodness of my heart, I invite you to my house.
Fist fight you tomorrow.
And you're like,
I'm going to run up on you like you did Matt.
oh, that was funny. Totally made him flinch. But anyhow, we'll get out of here, though. That'll do it for tonight, everybody, in our AEW Dynamite review here on the channel. By all means, I know this is a lot to take in, a longer than normal episode, but we had a lot of movie news to go over.
Hey, man, that was good.
Yeah, it was good stuff. It was a fun time, and I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. Definitely let us know what you guys think about all that. But if you're finding this for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications about when we put up new content right here on this channel. And until our next video, guys, take care.
Later.
Later.
We about to turn it on.